I feel like since you won the Ultimate Fighters, we've been waiting for this fight week where you fight for the strawweight title. So I guess now that we're only a few days away, I guess what are the emotions now that, like I said, the last, like 8 years we've been asking you, like, how far away are you from the title, and now it's finally here?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm just excited to be here. Sorry, I like rushed over here because I was late. I'm so sorry. Anybody who knows me knows I'm just like in my own world. But anyways, so yeah, no, I feel great. I'm just excited to compete again. You know, I love competing. I love fighting. I mean, I love everything about it. As much as I'm not a big fan of media, I even love doing the media just because I know that it's part of it, and I'm excited to just, you know, just be here and have the experience, because these are the experiences I'll probably talk about to like my great-grandchildren if I live that long.
Have you heard, fans label you, the uncrowned champion for so long, even when you were on the shelf recovering? Did you hear those talks, and did it ever, like, not bother you, but just be like, I'm getting there, just you don't have to crown me just yet?
Yeah, it is. It's like, for me, like, I'm always about like proving things, you know? So like, I know people say that and they see my ability and they see how great I am and stuff like that. And it's very flattering. But yeah, no, it kind of is like one of those things where like, now I just want to go do it. You know what I mean? So, and that time is now. So I thought it would be years ago. But my time is now. So just excited to be here, and what better place to do it in this beautiful country.
Well, I was going to ask, if you hadn't, gotten hurt with the neck and everything, do you think you already would have won the title by now?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so, I think at the time, I think maybe Joanna even had it, so I would have had the opportunity to face her as well, and then even maybe Rose, because she was in the mix then too. Now she switched weight classes up. So yeah, no, I had but you know what? Like, now I can go ahead and still face someone who actually beat Joanna twice. So it's not, you know what I mean? I could still kind of prove that, you know what I mean, here and even a few years later, so.
Well, kind of going off of that again, like, when you broke in, Joanna was the champ, like you said, and then, like, Jessica Andrade won, Rose won, and Weili's got it back. Do you think Weili would have, like, just breaking down all those past champions, that she's the hardest test for you as the champion, as opposed to all those other champions that you saw carry the belt at strawweight?
I mean, right now she's the best in the division. I know she lost to Rose twice, so I know for a while I was like, I want to fight Rose, and she was probably like, Tatiana, stop saying my name, and then she like switched weight classes, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. So it's like, now I'm just focused on Weili, or Zhang. I'm sorry. I think, like, what's her first name?
Everyone calls her Weili, but I think it's Zhang Weili.
Oh, okay, so her first name is Zhang.
I think they flip it.
Okay, yeah. Well, because I'm like, on Sure Dog it says, no, I'm kidding. So, yeah, no. So Jean, yeah, I don't even know what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I lost track because of the name thing.
And I know you said, I think I saw an interview where you said you don't really view this as a striker versus grappler fight. No. Like, this is just an MMA fight. So what do you make of Weili's last few fights and just her skill set all around?
Yeah, I think she's a great champion. I mean, I've said this multiple times, like all throughout the week. She's a great champion. She's everything that a champion should be. Humble, confident, go-getter. She doesn't use, so for me, like, and I'm all about like hard work. Like, I don't use other things to promote myself. You know what I mean? I've always been super, super respectful of myself, and I don't have like an OnlyFans or nothing like that. Like, I'm using my hard work, and like the reason why is because I want to be looked at as super like respected. I want them to be like, she was an amazing champion. All she did was work hard, and things came for her. She didn't use other things to promote herself. So for me, that's really respectable of Weili. That's why I respect her as a champion. When I've seen her, when she was going to fight Jan, I'm like, hey, what's up, champ? But I'm the real champion, and I'm going to prove it Sunday.
Just last one for me, going off of that again. I think you used the phrase, like, we don't break, we break people. Do you think Weili has that in her? Like, do you think you can break her? Or, you've seen her fight. She's had fight of the year. She's bounced back too. So do you think you can break her in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could do that to anybody in the world. I think that, like, I'm super relentless. I keep going. I have a really good gas tank, but the thing that separates me from I think a lot of people is just, like I said, my relentlessness. And my wrestling is just second to none. I think that like I have a series of attacks that I'm very good at. And once I start flowing, it's very, very hard to stop me. And even in just grappling in general, like they think that they're safe and then all of a sudden they're in a choke. So that's definitely my best attribute is I've been grappling since I was 3 years old. I've seen that, she had said that she had a lot of experience, but I also have experience in combat sports since I was a really young girl, and I carry those over to now, today. Yeah.
Just over here, Tatiana. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. Who do you consider to have been your biggest challenge so far? What was your most challenging UFC fight you've had up until now?
I don't know. I feel like they all have had their challenges. I know that a lot of people are like, well, you make it look really easy,
Yeah.
And so, I think like for me, I guess I would say probably like if you look at on paper, my biggest probably challenge was Nina, because I had a 3-round fight with her. It's one of my only decisions that I have. Like I only have a few of those. So I think that would probably be my biggest challenge. And it was really hard because I was going through it with a neck injury and stuff. But it kind of sucked because like I had been healthy all year, and then the fight was booked, kept going, and it was postponed. And so I was healthy for an entire year, and then I got hurt like 2 weeks before my fight, and I'm like, what the, that just like super like unfortunate. But I got through the fight, I still won, and so I would say that one probably, just because I was facing other things, and she was a tough opponent too.
Right. And in your preparation for this fight and watching footage of her and training for her, does Weili feel like the biggest challenge you will have faced so far?
Yeah, just because of her credentials, like she has great credentials. She's a hard worker. And I just look forward to going out and competing and facing the biggest challenge that I've had to date. And I think that about every single fight. I think like they're the best fighter that I've ever fought. When I was about to fight Alexa Grasso, there was just like clips of her like freaking like slamming people, like KOing them and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see about that. Mm-hmm.
Tatiana, just wanted to bring up an interesting fact here. You and Weili are tied for the third most takedowns landed in UFC women's strawweight division history. Now, obviously, Mike Bond's not here, so I have to bring up the stats. What do you?
You're what?
Mike Bond, he's the stat guy, but he's not here. So he sits in the front, so I've taken his mantle. What do you actually think of her grappling? How would you rate it?
I think that she has good grappling, like I said, that's why when he had asked about the striker versus like grappler, I don't see it as that. I think she grapples every single one of her fights. She's grappled except no. I think she's literally grappled every single one of her fights. So I don't see her as just a striker. You know what I mean? And then that's why, I think that it makes for a great matchup. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't know. Sometimes I think like grapplers against strikers kind of seems like you're just like, oh man, this is like kind of lame. Because either it's like there's just like the grappler is just like holding them down and that's all they're doing, or you know what I mean. So sometimes it can be like not too fun of a matchup. But when you have people that are just really going at it and the whole aspect, then it becomes like a super fun fight. And that's why I think that it's going to be a really great fight.
When you see her break down her last fight and talking about that she went away from a game plan a little bit and she sort of had a little bit of a lapse towards the end of the fight, she was able to listen to her coaches. Do you see an opportunity in the mental side of things? Because you've always been someone that's followed a game plan, stuck to it, really focused on what you're going to do, but she's notoriously had some issues in the past, sort of sticking to her own game plans and some issues with sort of staying focused in certain parts of her fights.
I don't really put too much into that stuff. You know, I just kind of go in there, I do my thing. I don't even think of my whatever I'm doing out there as a game plan. I think I literally just go out there and like because I train the way I train, that my instincts just take over. Like I was watching my fight with Andrade, and I remember like going for the guillotine, and I literally felt like maybe somebody else was doing it. Like that's how like I guess you would say like natural it is, because I grapple so much, I do so many rounds that at that point it just becomes like innate, you know, and very natural. So yeah, I don't know, I don't think about like her game plan or my game plan. I just go out there and I go, I'm gonna go win. Yeah.
Hey, Tatiana, just over here to your right. I'm right in the back. Apologies. Over here.
Oh.
How you going?
I saw you had a question earlier, but
That's all right. No, it's
Yeah,
all good.
yeah.
Welcome to Sydney.
Thank you.
First question that I had is, you know, we've talked a bit about grappling. In a recent interview, you mentioned that you see this fight ending in your favor through a submission. Without giving away your secrets, do you have a specific submission in mind? Or if you don't want to answer that one, what might be your favorite submission to use in a fight?
Yeah, I just have an array of submissions. That's why I think that I can get a submission, because I am very good at submissions, and I have a lot of them. You know, different variations of it. As you saw, like even in my Ultimate Fighter, I mean, I did a Darce, and you know, it was kind of a combination of like a Japanese necktie as well. So like I have so many things. Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, you see women's MMA, you see a lot of like rear naked chokes, you see a lot of arm bars, you see a lot of these submissions, but like I'm a specialist when it comes to choking people out. I mean, I even have like earrings that are guillotines because that's how much I love them, you know? So, but yeah, no, I really, really like, I mean, the reason why I am so good in the front headlock and the reason why my squeeze is so good is because I've been doing it for so long. Even when I was wrestling, you know, I did front headlocks. I did like a lot of pins. Like when I was a young girl, I was like 8 years old, and you know, I did like a gator roll, which now you could turn into an anaconda. But I did it then, and the young boy tapped out, and they're like, does she win? Does she lose? I'm not really sure, because it's illegal in wrestling, you know? And they're like, I guess she wins. So, yeah.
And recently as well, you spoke about you needed to learn patience, and that's something that maybe you haven't always been good with, especially coming back from your injuries. Has that changed how you've approached your fight camp and just, you know, fighting in the UFC in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I don't know if it's like changed like my training or anything. I know that I'm just very like, because of my injuries and stuff like that, I've had to like be very, I guess, picky about the people that I go with and make sure that I trust them. And there's no egos in there, so that I can actually make it to my fights. But yeah, patience for me, I think that, you know, the universe always gives you what you need, and I think that that's something that I've had to get better at. And so for me, you know, I guess that's something that they gave me, that the universe says, you really, really need this.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to get a prediction for the main event. Who do you think wins that?
Yeah, of course, I'm going to have to go with my teammate, Sean Strickland. You know, I think that he won the first fight, so I'm rooting for him. And, you know, I actually have known Sean for like 12 years, because we started off at Millennia MMA together. So, you know, me and my fiance watched Sean win his world title from our couch, and we were both super inspired, you know. And now we're going to be watching him in the same arena, and I'm going to also win my world title the same day.
Tatiana, this is the farthest you've had to travel for a fight so far in your career. Has accounting for the jet lag and stuff been something you've had to work into your training, and do you think it's going to impact how things go this week?
No, I've been here since the 27th, so I accounted for that just in case. Like I said, like I don't have like as many fights as my opponent, but I have the experience in being a high level athlete for a very long time. You know, I was going to world competitions starting at 15, you know, all over the world. So I've trained all over. I've even trained in China for almost an entire month, you know, for world competitions and camps and stuff like that. So I knew that, you know, I'm a professional, so I made it a point to come here very early and make sure that everything went according to plan, and that I wouldn't face anything like jet lag or time having tough time adjusting to the time or nothing like that. I also, you know, have hired people that know those types of things and the hacks and everything like that. Very smart people.
Because you've been here for so long now, does that give you a bit of time to do some touristy stuff and enjoy Australia as a tourist?
You would think, but we've really just been training, you know. I thought that I would, you know, be able to go ahead and see some things, but we haven't yet. But we have seen a lot of shops, so that's good. I mean, lots of shopping. I love shopping, so that's okay, you know. But yeah, so, and then, you know, they have really good coffee here. So I've had probably a different coffee from, I don't know how long I've been here, 10, 12 days. So maybe like 10 different places, which I love because I love coffee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Oh, pose.